Welcome. We are a mother-daughter podcast about all things surrogacy. Together, we have brought 8 beautiful babies into this world, and we would like to share through education and knowledge about surrogacy with those who want to educate themselves on the topic. This is Stop.Sit.Surrogate. Hey everyone, if you ever thought about becoming a surrogate, I want to share something with you. Stop.Sit.Surrogate is now a matching and referral agency that helps guide you through the very first steps of your journey. We'll walk with you until you're matched and connected with a trusted agency that supports you all the way through. It's such a meaningful process, and knowing you're not alone makes a huge difference. So if you're curious about surrogacy or ready to take that first step, check us out at Stop.Sit.Surrogate.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate. Today is Friday Facts. We are near the end of the year. We're finally getting back into Friday Facts. And I got my good friend Sarah here. So, do you want to just do a little intro of yourself? Not like you've ever been here before.
Yeah, my name is Sarah. I had my opportunity to share my amazing first journey. I have identical twin girls. They are 10 years old, and those are my only keeper children. And then my surrogate baby is almost 11 months, and I'm on journey number 2.
Oh my gosh, why do I think that like your Suro babe is like 2 years old? I don't know
No,
why.
she's just nearing the end of her infancy.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And now Journey too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah. I'm very grateful to be doing this again.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for you. Well, maybe we'll jump into that a little bit. But what's our topic today? Our topic is the impact that surrogacy has on children. Now, me and you can really only speak to our kiddos who are roughly the same age,
Hmm.
but they were a part of surrogacy much different ages in their lives because yours was recent and mine was very much not.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like how did you tell your because having a conversation with your husband or your spouse or whoever it is, right? Being like, hey, I want to be a surrogate, and then like that's the adult conversation. And then it's like, well, when do you tell your kids?
Yeah. So I waited in my first journey to tell them until I was officially matched because I wanted to be able to explain, like, these are the people that we are helping so that they were old enough. They were 7 at the time
Okay.
to understand like what a pregnancy was going to look like, versus having babies or toddlers or preschool age children. Like they were going
Right.
to know everything that was going on. And they were old enough to understand at a more complex level than like a preschool aged kid. So I waited until they could actually see these are the people that we're helping. Like, look at this is the mommy, this is the daddy. And having a nursing background, I just went straight to the facts. I was like, this is, the mommy, this is her egg, and this is the daddy's sperm. And at that point, I had already given them the talk because, again, labor and delivery nurse. So we talk about all the things. So it
Gotta
made the
know it all.
conversation very easy to say, like, well, the baby comes from them. But, we used the analogy of like an oven that you need to borrow, right?
Right.
So mommy, it's there. It's not your brother or sister. And they seemed to get it really quickly. They were like, oh, you're just cooking the cookies for the mommy and the daddy. I'm like, yep,
Right.
that's exactly what I'm doing. And then we'll give, the baby to the mommy and the daddy who it already belongs to. We're just babysitting. So they understood that concept, I felt like, super easily. Um, we watched IVF videos on YouTube so they could see, like, this is what an egg retrieval looks like. This is how they make the baby and how an embryo grows. And yeah, they really um, took a pretty good interest in it in the beginning so that they could understand that this was not their sister.
Right.
And they never felt that way. They love her, they adore her. They wish that our peas, of course, didn't live so far away. We miss
Aw.
them. Um, but they also don't feel like they lost a sister or anything like that after the birth. Yeah.
Okay. Right. And that's, I mean, as long as you do your due diligence as a parent, right? And like you explain it with the facts, then I don't think that we get those misconceptions. I mean, speaking myself as a child of a surrogate, like I was like, that's cool, I'm gonna do that. Like, you
Yeah,
know.
they were like the opposite. In fact, they were like, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I was like that. Well, I think because they're looking at me and how like I get pretty nauseous in my pregnancies.
Oh, sure.
So they're probably like, I don't know about that. Like I want my
Right.
own children, but I'm not sure if I'm trying to do that extra.
Oh,
But
how
who knows? Maybe they'll get lucky and they won't, have such bad nausea in their pregnancies.
right, exactly. Yeah, everybody's different.
Hmm.
Everybody's different. How funny. Yeah, because when I did my first pregnancy, when I did my first surrogacy, my son he had just, oh my gosh, he had just turned a year
Oh my
old.
gosh. It was a
Yeah,
baby.
he was a baby. I did my match call like January 16th and my son's birthday is January 1st. And so like,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I had my transfer March 31st. So like baby was born in December. So I was just like, there's no explanation here.
No.
You don't even know what anything is but the things that you want.
Right, right.
Yeah. So it didn't affect my life at all. And then the second journey, I would, he was oh my gosh, he was two going on three. So he was three for the majority of that journey. And he was like, okay, cool, mom's pregnant, whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure at that point he was just thought I was like large. Like he was just like, mom's
Yeah.
always big. Like mom always has this wonderful pillow to lay on because that's what he would do. He would just lay on my tummy the whole time. Um, and then my third one, he was 4/5. And so he was in TK. And he told his teacher that his mommy was having a baby, but we were not going to keep it. Like, she's getting rid of it. And I was like, ugh. So
Do
let
you
me
it
explain.
with the second journey, did he understand that, or did you even bother telling him that you were pregnant? Did you even
I
go
did.
there? Okay.
Yeah, like he met the dads. And
Mhm.
like the dads took like a huge interest in like getting to know us. Like we like went they came out before transfer. They came out in November and I had a transfer in December. And so they came out and we like spent a whole day at the park and the zoo and like we went on this funky car bike thing or whatever and they just wanted to hang out with me and my son and I thought that was like
Mhm.
really sweet because I didn't have that in my first journey. I didn't meet my first couple in my first journey until I was 6 months pregnant. So it's just like crazy difference. So I explained and I was just like, oh yeah, but he was like, okay, whatever, I want to go play on the playground now. I was like,
Right.
it's fine, go ahead. But it was funny because my second couple's from Australia, so they would constantly talk to us about this show called Bluey. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like,
Love
trust
Louis.
me, you're gonna know soon. And I was like, okay, like it hasn't hit yet. And they're like, it's gonna. Now I'm like, oh, I had a little sneak peek.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, so that was a fun one. But yeah, but my third one mainly he understood. He was like, "Oh, okay." But he understood as best as he could. Like he didn't
Mhm.
explain it right to strangers. And
Mhm.
then this time it like took a different effect. It was interesting because my fourth journey it didn't there was no we did not end up with a pregnancy. There was no baby to be
Mhm.
had. And so he watched me because he was 6. He was 6 when I started this. So, we he saw me go through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotions. And like I don't hide my emotions from my kid. I know some people do, and like I do when it's like needed, but like if it's like mom's sad, like I'm not gonna like lock myself in my room all day and like be sad. I'm gonna say, hey, you know what, I have a lot of emotions right now, and what makes me feel better is just hanging out with you, bud, and like watching a movie or whatever. So I have a very empathetic child.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and that really showed because not that it took a bad toll, he was just like, this is so sad that, this mommy can't have a baby. And I was like, it's so sad. Like and we had a lot of conversations that like even though my mom's a surrogate, I didn't have those conversations
Mhm.
with my mom. So are they inappropriate? Maybe to some, but I don't think it's inappropriate. My kid's old enough and he's asking me these questions. I'm not
Mhm.
sitting him down being like, "Let's learn about surrogacy today." Like,
Mhm.
no, like my kid is old enough to form sentences and ask whatever he wants to know. So it was a very different experience this time around, and
Mhm.
I'm very grateful for it because my son taught me a lot this journey.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to have him there. He reminds me of, the good that this world
Mhm.
can have. So yeah.
When you talk about the impact on our children with your first two journeys, I don't know if there really would have been a lasting impact for your son. Like if you had never done a third and not gone on to do all these amazing things that you're doing, like
Right.
would he even ever know or think about it? Or like someday it would come up as like trivia. Hey, when you were three, I did a surrogacy. What? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. There's photos. I mean, there's so many photos because we live right next to Disneyland. So like there's so many photos of me pregnant when he was like 2 and we're
mm,
with all these characters and he'll look back at them and be like, "So what baby was that? Was that one or two?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." That was, when we go on to explain. I'm like, they have names. But it's fine. But I don't think so. And it's funny because somebody just asked yesterday or whatever day it was, like, would you ever like interview your son on the podcast? And I was like, Ash, would you want to like talk about your experience? And he's like, I mean, I can. Like, I don't know anything from the first two. Like, I was
mhm.
there. And I was like, that's totally fair. Like, you
Yeah.
don't remember. And I think a lot of surrogates do this sometimes when their kids are really little,
Hmm.
but then there are some who do it like I feel like a lot of surrogates, their kids are either like between the ages of like 1 and 12. That's what I've been seeing.
Hmm.
Like they span from that because if you think about it, I mean the cutoff age is what, 42?
Yeah, 42, 45 on like some rare circumstances if you have a recent pregnancy or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. And so, like there's not a lot of teenagers out there. I mean, there are. I know I think Leslie's daughters are teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Um Shout out Leslie. Sorry, didn't mean to just throw you out there. Just
My
talk there for a minute.
agency owner, the one of the co-owners, I'm pretty sure that her oldest was a teenager already.
Oh, really?
I think so, but I'm not positive. I could be lying.
But when
Sunshine, I have to tell you.
and it's funny because like technically my brother and my sister were teenagers
Oh yeah.
because my brother's 10 years older than me. So I was 5. So my brother was 15. So he was in high school when all this happened. So yeah, that would make sense actually.
And do you remember your mom's first journey as a 5-year-old?
As a 5-year-old, the only thing I really remember was being scared because I don't my mom's like, you always tell the story wrong, and I'm like, okay, well this is what I remember as a 5-year-old.
Right.
We were at Embassy Suites. We had gotten brunch because that's where the dads were staying, and then they were like, hey, the pool's outside. You want to like go in the pool? And I was like, okay, cool. And one of them had like longer-ish kind of like Jessie hair from Full House, but it was blonde and it was long and he like clearly greased it back and everything. And when he went under, it like relaxed his hair. So when he came up, he like looked like somebody else and it freaked me out. And that's literally the only part of the journey I remember is being scared as a 5-year-old. Like this guy going under and then coming back up and being like this totally different dude. And I'm like, I can't tell you anything else. We did run into them when I was like 8 or 9 at an airport in Florida. And
That's
but
so
I don't
amazing.
and they had 2 other babies, so they went on to have other babies with
Hmm.
other surrogates, but I don't remember the journey.
Did you recognize them when you saw them, or probably not?
Well, my
Like,
mom spotted them in the
uh-huh,
shop,
uh-huh.
and she ran back over. She's like, "Yeah, guess who I just saw?" And we're like, "Probably not. Who did you see?" And she's like, "Oh my!" And so we like, you know, scouting all over the airport, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, they're right there. Okay, what do we do?" And she's like, "Well, I have to go say hi." And I'm like, "Okay." So, we all went over and said hi, and it was very awkward, but it
Oh,
wasn't great. But yeah, but I don't, yeah, but I remember the second one. I remember the triplets.
hmm,
and
Mm,
that left a lasting impact. And I was your daughter's ages. So that makes sense that
mhm.
they'll know this. There's
Yeah,
no.
they like to tell their friends about it. I think it has less of that exciting appeal than it did the first time,
Oh,
where
sure.
they loved to tell but also like I'm not pregnant anymore. So we'll see with journey number two if they go back to telling everyone that they meet that like my mom's a surrogate, my mom's a surrogate. But they were super proud
Oh,
throughout the journey to tell it because all their friends at school would be like, "Oh, are you, going to have a new baby brother or sister?" And so then they
right.
would love, and all their little friends at school, they don't know what a surrogate is, and they would go home and ask I guess the classmates would ask their parents because some of the parents would laugh and tell me later that their kids were like, "Mom, could you be a surrogate?" And
Oh,
they would all I must have had like two or three different moms like tell me that their kids came home asking for them to be surrogates.
oh my gosh, how cute.
Yeah, it
Oh my
was
gosh.
cute, but I thought, wow, look at my little kids like spreading the news.
Right? Just getting that recruitment going.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was like really interesting to have that dialogue with some other kids too, where I'm like, well, this is what it is. I guess these kids are learning things whether their parents intended them to or not just yet, but there's no shame in it.
No, none
I think probably
whatsoever.
some of these kids' parents probably just didn't maybe see that coming of like, oh, okay, well, now let's go ahead and talk about IVF and
Right.
and what, infertility is. And hey, like I don't think there's ever a bad time, to talk or like a time that's too early, to talk about that if your kids are bringing it up.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
right there with you. I agree.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. So your kids, so your daughter, well, I can call them daughters because you got
Yeah.
two of the same. So your daughters, they're you would say that they were not negatively harmed or, like mentally. Well, let me ask this then. When it came time to like saying goodbye, like was that a difficult process for them or were they like prepared?
Well, so one thing that was really important to me was having a relationship with the intended parents that was going to go beyond the journey. Like, I didn't need them to be besties with me or anything, but I really wanted intended parents that were also seeking like an ongoing connection. Like, they've invited us to the first birthday party, for example. They continue to send us pictures. And so I don't really ever feel like there was a goodbye because it's not like, okay, go about your life now. We're never going to talk again.
Yeah.
And so that was really important to me because I don't feel like my kids feel like, oh, there was this amazing thing that my mom did and we held the baby and then that was it.
Right.
I know that that's not for everybody, but it
Yeah.
was absolutely for my family to do it that way. So I'm really grateful for my first set of intended parents that was something that they also looked at and valued and saw like, yes, absolutely. We see how that is important for your kids. We want that. We want our baby to know who you are. So I've very much appreciated that throughout this year that they send me little pictures and videos and just every once in a while. And that's all my heart needs. It's just to know that they're as a family
Yeah.
doing the thing. It's hard.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so I I would not say that my children were necessarily like harmed by surrogacy. Did they have negative experience? There maybe a little bit because I do, and this is a me thing,
Sure.
because I get so nauseous in pregnancy and also I'm stubborn. So like I don't want to take medications if I
Wait,
don't
wait,
need
wait.
to.
Sarah, you're a nurse who is stubborn? Out of
Okay,
here. I'm
nurses are the
shocked.
worst patients. I
They're the
know.
worst, but
We're
love
so
you.
I know your mom, like, yes,
Yeah.
we are so bad. So I didn't want to take anything. And so, but that does come a little bit at the expense of my children who want me to be on like the trampoline with them. Not that I would be doing that, even if
Right,
I
right,
were
right, right,
feeling
right.
100%, like
But
and I told them
being
that
with them.
preemptively.
Yeah.
Yeah, like have the energy to
Right.
do this or that thing. So, once things got a little bit more under control with the nausea, They got me back a little bit, but still, you're tired, you're more slow, you're not running around chasing them or like, I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I'm not really going to paint your nails right now because the fumes are not good. They're girly girls. And so little things would come up throughout where they'd be like, I wish you weren't pregnant. And I'm like, well, but
Oh,
also you keep asking me for your own sibling and it would be the same.
right. It would be the same. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about growing your family but aren't sure what your options are? Or maybe you're someone who wants to help others experience the joy of parenthood. That's where Paying It Forward Surrogacy comes in. Paying It Forward Surrogacy is a full service surrogacy agency that guides intended parents and surrogates through every step of the journey with compassion, transparency, and personalized care. From matching to legal support to emotional wellness, they make what can feel overwhelming feel deeply human and supported. Whether you're considering surrogacy to grow your family or you're ready to become a surrogate yourself, Paying It Forward Surrogacy is there to walk beside you every step of the way.
So it would be the same, even if I were growing
And
my own
even
family.
more
So,
so because once baby's born, then mom has to like
yes.
tend to baby more now. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I reminded them is like this would be the same but amplified,
Mhm.
if mommy were. And I did pump for 6.5 months, and so
Mm.
there was some of that where it'd be like, okay, hang on, I have to clean up my pump parts. I can't
Right.
come tuck you quite yet. I have to clean up my flipping pump parts again. So much cleaning of the pump parts and the sterilizing and stuff. So it's a time sacrifice, but I don't think they look back on it like they don't look back and say, I wish you didn't do that. Like
Sure.
they look back at it and say like, wow, that's a really cool thing you did. They met the baby's well, they didn't get to meet the baby's grandparents. I met the baby's grandparents. But still like the grandparents had like given them a gift and stuff and they have said some really cool reflective stuff of like, wow, if you didn't help make this baby, then those people, and I'm gonna cry thinking about it. They're like, then those people would never have been grandparents because the dad is an only child. And
Oh,
so they were understanding the ripple effect of our family's
wow.
sacrifice. And I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, that's why mommy felt really called to do this because like, look, now these people have a family that they couldn't have otherwise have. Now these people get to have a grandchild that they would never have had. Now the mom has I think it's a nephew. Yeah, has a nephew. Like now that nephew has a cousin. Like we are making so many more people's lives change than just this little family of three.
Yes.
Like there's somebody now is going to have a best friend someday that is the baby that we helped bring into this world.
Oh my God.
So it's really cool that they recognized that. And I think they were like, okay, this was hard, but it was absolutely worth it when you could see. And
Yeah.
I'm very grateful too to the parents for sending me those pictures and videos because I show them to my kids every time. And they love to see it. And they're like, she's already walking. How does she have so many teeth? Like, oh, her laugh is so cute. Like they're just seeing the joy that is this baby.
I just love everything you just said. I never like realized that, right? Because that's so interesting. I'm like going back in my head right now and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Mhm,
that's crazy.
mhm. So
Because,
yeah, it was hard. And there were definitely times that they were like, I wish you weren't pregnant, right? Like,
well, for
yeah, they're
sure.
kids,
Like we
who
want
want,
normal mom. We want full mom.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But would they change it? No.
Right.
And when I told them I was doing a second surrogacy, not gonna lie, at first they were like,
Uh-oh.
mm.
Oh,
But I was like, but look at what we did the first time, we built this family and they were like, yeah, okay. And then now that they have met the intended parents just on the phone and learned their story, like they are also developing those soft hearts of like they are excited for this journey now. They're not talking about like, they're not having those little sour
yeah.
feelings.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that they got to talk to them and like they get to
Mhm,
like start developing like a
mhm,
relationship with them too. That's really important,
mhm.
especially when they're at this age where like they're humans. Like, they're like
Yes.
they're like people. They're like little adults.
Mhm. with big understanding. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember a lot of things that I was thinking back when I was 10 and definitely thought I knew more. I didn't know anything, but you
For
feel
sure.
like you understand so much when you're 10. And
Yeah.
um, so the intended parents had got them just a little cute coloring book from where they're from, like that's all about like the city that they live in, and some really cute glittery gel pens. And like the girls use those like pretty much every night, sometimes every other night, to like color in them and stuff. And just they already were creating that special connection. And my first set of IPs was intentional that way too. I feel like I scored with just the most thoughtful
It
um,
sounds like it.
IPs. And I think that that does help with the impact on our children, that they look at it and go like, wow, these are really kind, appreciative people who just want a baby so bad, and how lucky that we can help them.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's a family effort, I tell you right
Hmm.
now. Our
Hmm.
book, I know it says, look, my mom's a superhero, but like in the end, like everybody helps. Like,
Hmm.
it's a full family affair for sure.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so I think we kind of went over it, but like, I mean, what do you think your children learned from watching you be a surrogate?
Hmm. I think my children learned how hard pregnancy can be, but also how joyful it could be too.
Yeah.
Um, so there was certainly some, like a scientific, observational knowledge gain that they had about like the process. And
Sure.
so that is one kind of neat benefit, because they
Yeah.
were so little, they were born at the same time. So it's not like they ever really saw or had the opportunity to be like true big sister, little sister. Although today, my baby A did wear a shirt that said big sister. We got some hand-me-downs and that was in it. And so she wore it, even though she's only 8 minutes older.
8 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. So I think that that was a really cool experience for me, being a labor and delivery nurse, that they got to see like a pregnancy evolve. They got to learn how to use like a Doppler and listen to the baby's heartbeat and see how things go through the pregnancy. Um, for sure, my kids learned a different way of being helpers. They stepped up to the plate for me when there were things that I couldn't do. I remember one night being just like so tired. I was probably having like hormones or whatever too, and I just was crying. I was sick. I was just so tired of throwing up, and I had forgotten my prenatal vitamins downstairs, and I was like, already in bed. So then I'm crying, right? Because I'm like, I'm already here. I don't want to go back downstairs. And they just like took it upon themselves to be like, that's our job. Like, mom, I want to get your prenatals for you every night. And so that was like what they did. It was really cute that they really developed, I think, some empathy in there,
Yeah.
that, not that they were like selfish children to begin with, but it was
Right.
definitely an opportunity to grow as,
Emotionally.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
A
Hmm.
hundred percent.
Hmm. And also the compassion to have for other people, to think outside of our family unit, to look at how can we help a total stranger
Mm-hmm.
and feel really, really good about that.
Right. Exactly. I
Hmm.
agree. I think that's a big thing that we teach our kids. And not that, I mean, this doesn't really matter, but like you helped a family that was heterosexual, right?
Hmm. Yeah, both of my couples.
Okay, okay, okay. And and what I personally have loved about teaching my son, because
Hmm.
my son, for a long time I was a single mom. And so well, actually all my journeys I was a single mom. So I really loved showing him that there are different types of families that we can help. There are,
Hmm.
like, this last journey was a single mom. I've had two babies for two different, same-sex dads, and then I also had a heterosexual couple for a journey. So I feel like I've been around. Like
Hmm.
I've done it all, and well, not all, but I've done a lot, and showing him that and making him, it probably just made me feel better being like, look, different families, it's all good. Like no
Yeah.
big deal here, but
I do see that that definitely helped him accept people because there's
Mhm.
someone in his class that's gay. Like, and I'm like,
Oh, like
wow,
the
we already
student
know.
is?
Huh?
The student is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And he's like, absolutely not. Why do I care?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yes.
100%. Why do you care?
Why do you care?
Don't.
Well, and then in your fourth journey, having the opportunity to say, like, also single parents deserve to be parents,
Exactly.
right? Like, this
Exactly.
is somebody who does not have a partner, but is
Mhm.
so deserving of parenthood and desires that. And
Yeah.
you wanted to be the one to help them with that.
Yeah. And it was interesting because he really wanted to be the one. I remember when my transfer didn't take and he saw how sad I was. And
Mm.
then I don't know if it's because I was sad that he was sad, but he came up to me and he was like, I'm so sorry, Mom, that we couldn't help her have a baby. And I was like, okay, okay. I was just like, who are you? You're like my little person.
Oh.
I don't like, it's just the lessons that our kids learn just by watching us.
Mhm.
Like, you don't think about it, and like, you think that the selfless things that you're doing, or just the things that you're not even thinking of that you're doing, like, they see it all and they
Mhm.
learn from it. They learn
Mhm.
from everything. And so, yeah, he's definitely learned to be a very he was always empathetic, but
Mhm.
to be a very empathetic person towards people who are different,
Mhm.
especially, and like doesn't blink an eye at all. He's like, okay, well, like what's wrong with that? And I'm like, oh, 100%, I know I'm raising you right. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh gosh. Let's see. One of the questions, I don't know if we'll answer it, but it says, do you feel it's influenced how they think about family, kindness, and reproduction?
Say that again. Do I?
Do you feel that surrogacy
Uh-huh.
journey has influenced how your children think about family, kindness, and reproduction? I think you
Mhm.
kind of already touched on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty inclusively
Yeah. Yeah. We're good. We don't need to answer that one. Let's see.
that
Um,
they have an understanding that it's not always like first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage, like we were all taught, It's like it
100%.
doesn't always happen that way. And so I
100.
think, yeah, that they have definitely learned that there is this thing, infertility, and this is what it can look like. Mhm.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I know people are probably out there being like, your kids are 9 and 10. What do you mean they understand infertility? Like, they understand how hard it is for some people to have
Mhm.
babies, that it's not just, oh, like you see in the movies, oh, look, they got married. Oh, look, they had a baby. Oh, look, they're living their beautiful fairy tale lives. Like, to make the world be cookie cutter, yes, we should do that for our children in some ways, absolutely. Like, why not? But when you're stuck, not stuck, but when you're in the middle of surrogacy, how are you going to be like, yeah, life is cookie cutter? Like,
What's
it's
what's sad to me is you look at the staggering statistic that 1 in 6 couples will encounter infertility,
right.
and like look at their whole classmates. Like there's going to be somebody in their class who encounters this. And what really is sad to me is when people really just didn't think that it could happen to them, or they didn't know anybody because nobody's talking about it. I
Right.
just had a coworker today. She may need to use a surrogate. She's did a transfer and betas are looking good. So hopefully she can just carry this baby on her own. But, we've been talking a lot about this. And she said, at first, when I first started sharing openly, because I felt like that was something I needed to do, I
Mhm.
didn't know anybody else. And she said, and then the more I started talking about it, the more other coworkers were like, oh, me too, me too, me too. And people
Really?
started talking about it more. And then celebrating each other's highs and lows and going through all of those emotions together with all the injections and all. It was just a way for them to bond, that they were instead suffering in silence. So
Right.
I am glad that our kids know about this kind of stuff. So I mean, God forbid should they encounter it someday themselves, like
Right.
there's a
Then they
level of familiarity.
Right, and then they know they're not alone. Like, you're
Hmm.
not like going
Yes.
into like the unknownable, like abyss, whatever that word is. Like, I can't think
Hmm.
right now. But like, you're just, because I feel like a lot of people that are in this community, when they do talk about it, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know anybody." And it's like,
Hmm.
Ah, why? Why don't we know anybody when you literally just said the statistic is 1 in 6? Like
Mhm.
they're there. They're just not there. Like
Mhm.
it's hard.
Right.
It's hard. But obviously, like, this isn't taught in sex ed, and I get why, but like at the same time, maybe it should be.
Right.
Maybe it should be.
Although they're probably like, no, don't bank on not being able to get pregnant. Like this is
Not
not
all
a
of
free
you.
pass to try and see if maybe you're the 1 in 6, you know?
Right. Yeah, let's not gamble on that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Would you, if you could go back, well, you're on your second journey actually, so I'm gonna ask it like this. Are you involving your children differently this journey?
Um, Earlier.
Okay.
So, the last journey, like I said, I waited until I was matched. This time I told them up front, like, look, mommy and daddy are doing this again. So they knew before I was matched.
Okay.
They knew when I had match calls, because they'd be like, how did it go? Yay or nay?
Ah.
They so yes, I involved them much earlier this time. They knew all about when I went out for my medical screening, and they haven't really asked anything lately. Like everybody else in my life is like, so when's the transfer? When's the
Ah.
transfer? I'm like, get through legal first.
Right.
So they haven't really asked for like a timeline quite yet.
Okay.
Um, I'm actually kind of surprised by that, but that would be the difference is just involving them a little bit more early.
Sure. And that makes sense. I mean,
Mhm.
they're they seem interested enough, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. You're not forcing it on them.
No, but they already know what surrogacy is, and they
Right.
already know like a little bit about what it entails. So I didn't feel like, last time I wanted to wait until I was matched so I could really explain what surrogacy is. They
Right.
already know. I don't have to, there's no
Yeah.
unveiling.
Right. Not a big secret.
Mhm.
Like, not like, yeah, it's not like this big, let's sit down and have this big conversation and map it all out. Now they've
Mhm.
been through it. So they're just like, who is it this time? What,
Yeah.
like, is it a boy or a girl? Like,
Yeah.
the fun stuff. So yeah. That's
Which actually, on that note, is really cool. I don't think my intended parents are gonna find out. Like they know that they have
great.
both embryos, boys and girls, and so that's kind of fun. Is maybe the girls will be. I'm just fantasizing now. My IPs have not said anything like this
Oh,
to me, but like, other than they don't know, they're not going to know what they transfer. They're gonna leave it
okay.
up to the clinic to pick the best one and transfer. But like I've seen some really cute stuff that surrogates have done for IPs, or that IPs have coordinated with the surrogate to do like gender reveal.
Thinking about navigating surrogacy without an agency? You don't have to figure it out alone. At Surrogacy Simplified, they provide one on one consulting and case management for independent journeys, concierge services for agency led journeys, and a supportive intended parent private community built by a 2-time mom through surrogacy herself. Whether you're going independent or working with an agency, they'll guide you every step of the way. Join their free intended parent community or upgrade for weekly support groups and a self paced course that helps you confidently manage your journey. Stop.Sit podcast listeners get $100 off premium with code STOPSIT. Start today at surrogacysimplified.com, your safer, supported, and more affordable path to parenthood.
Oh,
Like stuff
that's
together. So I'm like, oh,
cute.
that would be fun because with my twins, absolutely intended. I always thought because my mom never knew what she was having that I would do the same.
Oh.
And then I found out there were two babies, and I was like, that's enough surprises for me. So as soon as we can tell what they are, that would be great.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah, so this will be a little bit of a different experience.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
That'll be fun. Yeah, they can find out with you.
Mhm.
That'd be a fun
Yeah.
little way. That'd be fun. Um, I don't think I could ever like wait. Like as soon as I can know, if I was able to know like at conception, I want to know. My sister, she went through a whole pregnancy and didn't know, and I was like, "How, woman? How?" Like I would be going nuts.
Mhm.
Every ultrasound, I'd be like, "What is that? What's that? Was that a foot? Is that not
Did
a
I
foot?
see
Like
what I
what?"
think I saw?
Right. What's going on? Like I would be, nope. My curiosity would kill me.
Hmm.
Gosh, I wish I could because what a fun surprise. Like,
Yeah.
boom, now you have a daughter, or boom, now you have a son. But
Yeah.
also, so I need to mentally prepare.
Right. Yeah.
Like, sorry, that was like a sidetrack. Anyways, let's see. Oh, what advice would you give to other surrogates about preparing their children?
Mm. Um, it's gonna have to be age appropriate, right? So
Mhm.
I've had some gestational carrier friends who are like, I didn't even tell my 1 year old, my 2 year old,
Right.
3 year old, sometimes four, where they're like, I literally just didn't tell them anything, had the baby and moved on with life. I'm like,
Sure.
that is impressive, even at four. Um,
Yeah.
my advice would be to keep it simple,
Mhm.
yet not be afraid of any questions that they have. Really think in advance about how you want to explain it to them. Use some of those analogies. I think I've heard from a lot of surrogates that the baking the cookies thing makes a
Right.
lot of sense to a lot of kids of various ages.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think have a plan for when
Yeah.
it comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super. It's easy. But yeah, it all is age appropriate because if you have a 2-year-old, there's probably not a conversation. If you have a 9-year-old, there's gonna be questions.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Right. Well,
like,
wait, how did the baby get in there? Like,
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the things. So definitely, and there's books, I think there's books
Yeah.
for different ages and things like that. And so it's just, in the community.
And find your YouTube videos like I did if you're nerdy and really wanting them to if they are older,
Right, right.
and wanting to know more about it, because there are some really great like transfer videos on there. Like, this is
Yeah.
what is going to happen. This is how they're going to put the baby in me. That the
I
doctor.
love watching those, and
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
30, and like my husband's in school right now, and he's like, "Hun, you'll never guess like what we're learning. We're learning about like fertility and like all these things," and I'm like, "I bet I know all of it. Like, what are you watching?" Like, I'm like, "This is fascinating."
And it totally is. It never
It
gets
is.
old. So, um, yeah, I think just not to be afraid to talk about it and to
Mhm.
normalize it, right? Normalize surrogacy.
Just yeah, I think that's like my biggest problem with like everything in life. I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but like the things that are taboo because they're not being normalized. If it's
Mhm.
just like n normalized being like accepted, then who the hell cares?
Right. And
Yeah.
since I've become a gestational carrier and I've shared my story, I've now met other people who I never would have known had a family member who used a surrogate, or, had a relative, who like is currently looking, or my sister-in-law told me her, is it one of the teachers, I think, at her daughter's school, like that there are these little connections, that it is a thing people in our local area,
Yeah.
are experiencing
Yes,
every day.
absolutely. And I
Hmm.
think it's becoming more, I don't know if it's becoming more common or more accepted because I hear more stories
Hmm.
about people being like, "Oh, we're in infertility, or we are going with a surrogate, or things like that." I maybe because my world is consumed by it, but also at the same time, like I just hear like random people on the street talking about
Hmm.
it, so I'm like, oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Normal people. Who
Yeah.
cares how you have a family?
This is how this family's being grown. Oh, okay. It's
Great. Yes.
demystify.
Right, exactly. um so what was the most surprising reaction your child had during or after your surrogacy?
Mm, surprising.
Or that like kind of was like, oh, that's unexpected.
Yeah. I honestly was surprised at how well they seemed to understand it even at 7 years old. The first few things they said, and I feel like I maybe shared this when I shared my journey, but to circle back, it was so cute when I was explaining to them like that I'm gonna be pregnant for somebody else. And what my baby A says, um, we get to see you pregnant? Like that was what she was excited about, was like, we never have seen mommy pregnant before. We didn't think that was going to
True.
happen because mommy said there's not going to be any brothers or sisters. So she was excited about like a pregnancy,
Yeah.
And then the sweetest thing that my baby B said was when I was explaining that right now the baby is already created. She's what's called an embryo and she's frozen so that she doesn't grow. She's just little cells. And she says, "Is the baby cold?" It's like, no, she's not cold. She doesn't have a nervous system yet. But, it was just so sweet how
Oh,
like
fair.
thoughtful she was,
Yeah. And like a fair question. You said
Totally.
she's frozen. Like
She's frozen. Yeah. Yeah.
she's like
So,
Elsa. She's got that armor around her. She's got how cute is that?
yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised with how excited they were about me being pregnant.
Hmm.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me a little bit. Um,
Oh,
Otherwise, I think how they responded throughout was as you would expect. They love
yeah.
babies, like they're 10-year-old little girls.
Right.
They love
Exactly.
babies.
Right. Exactly.
They love holding babies, looking at babies, talking to babies, playing with babies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like when the surrogate baby came, when she came to visit, like they were all about sitting on the floor, playing with her, handing her toys. Does she want her milk? Does she want? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet. I love that.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to go back in my mind about my son and like he didn't meet the last baby that I had because that was a whole bunch of drama. But and that pregnancy was just drama, so I just tried to
Mhm.
like keep that away. But I'm trying to think. I really like the thing that really sticks out to me is he was almost 2. The baby was born December 15th of 2017 and my son was turning 2 January 1st. So like 2 weeks, 3 weeks apart. Um and the baby was born. I actually have a picture of it too, and I like love it so much. And I'm sitting in the hospital bed. I'm holding little girl, and my son's on the bed, kind of like in between my legs, like looking at me, and his hand is like reaching out in the photo, and it's like on my
Um,
like stomach. And like I could tell he was processing and he was just so mesmerized by this little baby. And like he just like was just like pet like like petting the little baby, like being so nice, like, that's a baby. I was like, yeah, that's the baby that was in mommy's tummy. And like it all processed through him and he was just like, that's the daddy. I was like, yeah, it is. And like it just that whole moment of everything where like I got to see them be dads and then my son grasped the fact at like almost 2 years old
uh-huh.
being like mommy's tummy's not big anymore. That thing, I think that was the thing that was causing it and like it's here and it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Like like and
Oh.
it was just like oh my gosh and I just that just stuck with me and I was like I have to do this again. Like I
Mhm.
have to it was like the cherry on top of everything, and it was
Mhm.
just great. And so, I mean, my kid's done other great stuff, I'm sure, but surrogacy's been a part of his life as long as he can remember. So that's the one that sticks out. So yeah.
And that instinct to be gentle, and touch the
Yeah.
baby. Isn't that so precious?
I was like, because I have nephews who are a little rowdy. Like they're
Okay.
boys. My son was not like boy.
Uh-huh.
Like he was never boy. Like my son's always been like, shall we walk across Disneyland today and have a churro? Like, that's I swear. I'm
Yes,
like,
we
okay.
shall.
Right. I'm like, okay, hun. But yeah, so yeah, it was very sweet. Okay, and then last question. If your child was sitting here, what do you think they'd say about the surrogacy experience?
I wish they were sitting here. My husband just took them to my mother-in-law's.
Aw.
Otherwise, I would just ask them, what would they say about the surrogacy experience? Oh, I think they would say that it was cool
Yeah.
and um and I know that they're proud of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think my
Hmm.
son would say the very close to the same things. It's cool. Those are people have families now.
Hmm.
Like it's awesome. So I do. I don't think that we're the help me with the words today, Sarah. Anomaly.
Anomaly.
Thank you. Right? We're not
Yeah.
like the outsiders with
No.
with surrogate babies that are like this, or with babies. Oh my gosh, hold on. With children of our own that are like this for surrogacy. Did that make any sense? That probably
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah. Okay.
Whose
There you go.
keepers are, yeah,
Who's
is
keepers? Yeah, I don't think
the
that we're.
lingo.
Yeah, I don't think we're the only ones that have keepers that think this way. I think a lot of keepers think this way. So weird. I'm a keeper. I've never literally
Yeah,
put
you are.
myself as like, hey, I'm a keeper. She kept me. Woohoo!
I don't, it's, I didn't love the language when I first saw it. I was like, that's such a weird because it's not because we're not giving away a baby. I think that's why
Right.
the language always bothered me, but it is the
We gotta come up with
colloquialism.
something else.
Yeah. It's what people use. It's
Yeah,
the
it is what people
slang.
use. We didn't come up with the term.
No, and I wouldn't have it, and that's yeah. But
So
I
wild.
use it for clarity of in this moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
100%.
my own children,
Yes.
yes, separate from surrogate baby.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that a lot of kids of surrogates feel like proud of what their mom has done. I mean, you can testify.
Yeah. I followed in her footstep for crying out loud. Come on.
Uh-huh.
Like I
Uh-huh.
was like, that's cool.
Right?
So I just didn't want to do the triplet thing. So I'm fine with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right. We're good on that.
We're good on singletons. We're good.
Singleton's good. I mean, if this next journey it splits to two, I guess I'm riding that,
Right.
wave again, and that's okay. But a singleton it was a good journey.
Right. And there you go. Yeah. Healthy baby, right? That's the big
Yes.
goal. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited for your next journey.
Yeah, thank you.
Where are you at?
This is week 2 of legal. So,
Okay.
the typical, like you wait a few weeks usually to get a contract, right? So,
Yes. Okay. Well, oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you, Sarah. You're amazing. I always love talking to you. I don't even know where
yes.
we like ended. We like went off on like our own little conversation, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I was very much looking forward to connecting with you today, and it's always a pleasure.
It's always so fun. I'm so excited. I'm excited for your second journey. So, I'll be stalking you still. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, well, have a great evening.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thanks. Bye. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your experience with your children about being children of surrogates. If anybody has any questions or stories that they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate, or you can email me at Stop.Sit.Surrogate@gmail.com. And this has been another episode of Stop Sit Surrogate. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Today's episode of Stop Sit Surrogate is brought to you by Nappy Ending Surrogacy Agency, Paying It Forward Surrogacy, and Surrogacy Simplified. Thank you for supporting the surrogacy community with us.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link to our YouTube channel in the description. And be sure to also check out our children's book, My Mom Has Superpowers, sold on Amazon and Etsy.